This is my 1945 Farmall A. I bought this in September of 2023 through Almond Auctions. It was part of a Red Power Museum sale in Iowa. The man had over 100 tractors at one point, from what I understand. When I bought this, it was not in running condition, and it was over a 900-mile journey out to get it. When I bought it, it had a set of hand lift cultivators on it. They turned out to be in pretty bad shape. They were brazed and welded here and there, so I decided it was best just to take them off. I ended up selling those locally. So again, it wasn't running, and the gasoline in it didn't even look like gas, so I figured I had to start from square one. I was looking at the generator and the charging system, and it looked pretty bad, so I decided it'd probably be best just to convert this to 12 volt. So I ended up putting a 1-wire alternator, and I replaced the wiring harness and added a new battery. Then I went and rebuilt the carburetor and cleaned the gasoline tank out, changed the sediment bowl, and I was able to get it running. Once it was running, I still had a few more issues. The radiator actually leaked, so I tracked down one from a Farmall B. It's basically the same thing. So I got that swapped out, and I ended up having to change the exhaust manifold. There was a large hole in it. So here you can see the alternator. Got a nice bracket. There's the new manifold. This tractor was painted pretty nicely. However, the engine and certain areas on the frame there were in need of a touch-up, so I painted, like obviously where the hand lift cultivators mounted and whatnot. I was able to save the front tires. They were pretty decent. I just painted the wheels and added a set of wheel weights. To the rear, I had to add new tubes and 2 new tires, as the old ones you could see the tubes through the tire. I got those tires at an auction. The one set of rear wheel weights I bought in Iowa at the auction, and the second set I bought at another auction locally. I wanted to put 2 sets on the rear of this thing just to be kind of different. You don't see many people with A's or Super A's with 2 sets of weights on the rear. Being it had the cultivators, it did not have any kind of drawbar. So I got this drawbar, and I had the swinging drawbar, so I added that. It's kind of nice for disking. I did add a PTO shield and had to reseal the PTO and most of the rear end, update the brakes. The oil in this, if you want to call it oil, it more or less looked like cake batter. It was pretty disgusting. So I changed that as well. All the lights are now working. I made this slow moving vehicle sign bracket holder for the back. On this side, I just changed the coil, spark plugs, and wires. The distributor is pretty good condition. And you can see it's painted pretty nicely. Did change the starter switch. Better view of the sediment bowl and the wiring harness. It doesn't have the correct battery boxes, kind of like a homemade deal someone made. I think eventually I might like to get one, but it's quite a bit of money for one. Did change out the steering wheel. Neat thing about this, being a 45, a wartime tractor, it has cast iron shift knob. So that's kind of a neat feature. Now I did put a straight pipe on this. I wouldn't really recommend doing that if you're going to drive one of these for long periods of time. This is more or less a toy at this point. But it does sound pretty good. But like I said, I wouldn't want to be out, disking this field or something with it. It gets to be kind of obnoxious. So I'll start her up real quick. And this thing has one of the foot starter rod. So you push that with your foot. So all in all, this tractor turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty proud of this one. I really enjoyed going out to Iowa and getting it. It was quite a long trip. I went along with my mom. She seemed to enjoy it as well. So again, it's a 1945 Farmall A, one of my favorite little tractors.